y'all, welcome back to DC Motorworks. We got an AMG GT here. Customer requested us to put lowering springs on it. While doing that, we discovered that at some time during the PDI process, you're supposed to remove shipping clips that go here to keep the shock from lowering too much during shipping. Apparently they were never removed, and they put a very nice dent in here and crushed the cup. And if we can get the video just right, you'll see a reflection where the plastic clip rubbed on the aluminum, and you can see the foam bump stop that goes in here like this. It beat it up too. That's how it goes. While our vehicle was here, we also found it needs some brake pads. Someone, you might have to get about right here. Someone's previously done a brake job, pulled the calipers off, and the hose is all twisted. It's not laying freely as it should. You can see it's bound up, touching the park and brake motor. This vehicle comes with a 178 engine. It's the twin turbo hot V, is what we call it. You can see that it's basically a mid-engine car. The front axle is about here, center line, and you see how far the front of the engine starts here. And the center line of the axle is about here. So the engine is quite far back. The customer has engine tuned and has downpipes put on it. Vehicle now. Just want to point out a few things about this engine and vehicle. The accessories on the front of the engine have a flexible coupling that drive some of the accessories, and the rubber will go bad in them and stop turning the coupling. Also, the oil reservoir has a plastic drain screw. It's located right here. Here you can see the downpipes from the turbo that the customer had installed previously. Comes here and back. You can see the torque tube bolted to the back of the engine. It's a large aluminum tube that holds the drive shaft, comes all the way back here to the transmission. One thing to mention about the torque tube is that there is a current recall specific to certain chassis numbers, that you pull the whole torque tube down with the transmission and replace the drive shaft inside. It's a carbon fiber drive shaft. Mercedes didn't really tell us why. I suspect it's a bearing issue. There's bearings in between the torque tube that hold the drive shaft. With this engine is the earlier production ones. These are the intake manifolds where it puts pressurized air into the cylinder head from the outside instead of from the inside. Right here is a plastic welded seam, and this seam will crack and bust, and you'll lose boost air pressure. And the only way to replace it is to lower the engine down on the subframe and replace the plastic intake manifold. So we got the transmission back here. It's the same basic transmission that's in the SLS. This is the GT, and they also share the transmission with some Ferraris. Transmission services are due at 40,000 miles. They do have some issues, which is why we're going to go ahead and service it while it's...
So we just finished doing a transmission service on this AMG GT. Just now setting the fluid level. Want to be at 60 degrees Celsius, just about there. So we're a little low, so what you do is once you've got it to temperature, you drain off the excess. You need to add a little more. right at that 60-degree Celsius mark. Just a little below to give us a little bit of a window in case we're just like this, that we need to add some more fluid. So what you want is just like that. You're just starting to drain off the excess. So the AMG GT transmission service is actually the reason I'm now friends with Dave the Car Wizard, because I did a service on this transmission just a week or a few days before they did Tyler's SLS, and from knowing the procedure just recently, I was able to tell that the wrong fluids were used and in the incorrect locations as well. If you actually read or look at the videos that Mercedes-Benz has posted on this service, it is very confusing and easy to mess up. We'll show you here part of that. So if you look here, there are multiple drain and fill points. We have two here. We have one here. We have another fill here. And another drain here. And there's actually two different circuits to this transmission. There's a gear oil set, and then there's the transmission hydraulic side. So here at the procedure, you can see, call it the lubrication oil circuit and the hydraulic oil circuit. But when you go down through the procedure, the initial, they call it transmission oil from lubricating oil circuit. And then on your hydraulic side, they call it transmission oil circuit as well. So you have to read this over multiple times, and even when I've done this service before, I still read this multiple times and double check all the drain screws, as the fluids are a very similar color as well. You can see here the old fluid we're pouring out. We had this captured to measure the amount that was removed, so we knew about what to reinstall. You can see how much darker this is compared to the previous clip where it's a bright yellow fluid. So glad we did this service, and thank you all for watching. Please consider subscribing for more.